Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Align for Success podcast. You know who I am. I am your hostess with the mostest, here with another amazing guest. If you are new to the Align for Success podcast, this live stream, the intention is to share with you people that inspire me, people that it really get me to go to the next level in everything I do. They are my friends, they're my coaches, they're my mentors. And I would love if at the end of each and every show that you are inspired, that you can do what you want in life, whether it's to go for your business, start a business, or to start a new health regimen, or to be more aligned with peace, or to be more aligned like today with creativity. Hi, Gigi. Nice to have you here, hermana de alma. So great to have you here. And so the intention is to allow you to have the tools to be able to do the inner work for outer success. And for me, how I define success has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with riches. It is success to me is inner peace. And maybe success to you is freedom. Or maybe success to you is being able to create what you want, when you want, how you want it. And today we are going to be talking all about creativity and how you can align with it, because we have a super duper special guest that I cannot tell you. I get excited just thinking about it. I cannot tell you how excited I was when he said yes to be here today. So what I want you to do before I even introduce him and bring him on the show is I want to encourage and invite you to share this live stream out there. If you're on Facebook, just click on the share button. If you're on YouTube, just share that link, because what would the world like? What would the world be like if everyone was aligned for success? That they didn't just have a job, but they had a joy. And even if their living wasn't exactly what they love, they would do that. You would have in your evenings, that creative spark, that hobby that you love, that just allowed you to feel alive and awake and aware. So you wouldn't be like TGIF on Friday. Oh no. Each and every day, you would be grateful to be awake, aware, alive, and aligned. All right. So speaking of alignment, one of the things that I have created for you is a way to get out of your own way. Because I don't know about you, but I have this little voice in my head. And no, I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but not totally crazy, right? But the little voice in my head, my ego, that is not your amigo, will often say to you, well, who are you to start this project? Or who are you to do this? And what this video training that I've created gives you is 4 tools to let go of your ego, to be able to live in the full expression of your creativity, to be able to be passionate, purposeful, and if you choose to, prosperous, doing what you love. And it's totally free. You could grab it on my website, which is deborahderas.com. It's my formal name. Some of you know me by my childhood name, which is Debbie Cujino, which is my name when I was born. But my full name is Deborah Lisa Cujino Deras. So that's where the Deborah Deras comes from. Also, my former husband, also a creative spirit. His last name is Deras. And that's where I got it from, deborahderas.com. So when you go to the website, you can download the Align for Success video to support you, even when we're done with this podcast, to be able to stay on track in alignment. Okay, enough chatting, all right? You're sharing the show, you're getting it out to the masses. Fantastic, because we have a very, very special guest. And guess what? You are able, Gigi and whoever joins us, to ask questions, to comment. This isn't just a show for me and Troy to talk. This is a show for you and your community to ask questions, to share, because today's guest is very, very special to me. He is my talented friend that was born and raised in Seattle, and his name is Troy Gua, and he is passionately creative, a self-taught artist, designer, maker, and tinkerer, continuously cultivating a prolific output of smart, bold work in a diverse range of media, produced with wit and crisp visual aesthetic, as you will soon see. Oh, hi, Stacy. As you will soon see, because my guest today is Mr. Troy. Wow, welcome to the podcast. I am going to invite him to join me right now. Here he is.
Hey, Debbie, thanks.
I'm so glad that you're here today. And
Me too.
yes, yes. And not only are you here, but your art is here with me, right by my side. Yes. So I'm just super fascinated. I told you that people, for me, artists, particularly visual artists like you, are revered. You know, in my house, my grandfather was an artist. There's paintings all over my grandmother's house. My husband, former husband, an artist, surrealistic type Salvador Dali meets Frida Kahlo. And then my dad, who is retired, became an artist and full time. That's all he does. He travels to Italy and Prague and he paints and just takes classes at 74 years old. He just started an Instagram account and is
Awesome.
working on his art career, right? Because it's never
I
too
want to be like him.
late. So to me, being an artist is just so important in the world. And it's one of the things, besides music, that we need to keep alive and well. So how did you get started? Were you an artistic child? How did this genius that is you get cultivated and nourished?
I don't know about all that genius stuff, but
It
thanks.
is true.
I was always a creative kid. It's I think it's kind of one of those things where when you're a kid and you maybe have sort of a predilection for something, maybe it's picking up an instrument, maybe it's drawing a little bit, but once someone like pats you on the back for doing a good job, that is like, like ignites the flame. And that's kind of what happened to me as like a little kid, It's like I was always getting, wow, that's amazing, Troy. What a great drawing. And I don't know, I loved that feeling and I kind of think I became kind of addicted to it. And so that's just since I was a little kid, I've always kind of considered myself an artist. And, for most of my adolescence, I was just, it's like, well, I'm just going to be an artist. That's just how it happens, right? Someone will discover me, but it's not really how it happens. But yeah, I mean, I've always had a creative streak for sure.
I love it. So when people saw your raw talent and just reinforced it, and because so much of alignment is mindset and self-talk. So
Right,
you realized by them acknowledging you that this is something special because you might have thought, oh, can everybody draw like this? Right?
right. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like maybe at first I did think everyone could draw like that, but once I was getting that extra attention, I was like, oh, okay, let's work on this a little bit more because this feels pretty good, right?
Right. That you had something special. And then as a teenager, because there's so much power in our word and what our thoughts and what we say. So you said, I am an artist. So that was like your identification, right? In life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like throughout school, that's exactly what it was. I was, there's always at least one art kid in your class, right? Well, I
Right.
was that was me, and I was always the guy they turned to for whatever they needed as far as graphics or anything artistic. So, and that was I was a job that I relished. I loved it.
Right. So you never thought, oh, well, maybe I'll have a backup career. I'll go in to do construction or I'll do some. Always did you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to do art.
Well, that's what I always wanted to do, but as a young kid, I didn't really have a lot of guidance. Like my parents, they didn't really know what to do with this creative kid. They weren't really creative themselves. Unlike your upbringing, I was really, I want to say, the only real creative person in my family, but that's not necessarily true because my mom was a seamstress and she sewed a lot of clothes and
Ah.
she made clothes for me and I actually got her to make clothes for my little stuffed animals and action figures. So
Wow.
that was like a total forerunner to LPP. And
Right.
I've processed this like kind of recently. But and my dad was a tinkerer. Uh he didn't really make things, but he likes to fix things and like put small things together, and so those two, I think, creative. They're both creative in their own ways, but I think those kind of filtered into my practice. And but as I was saying, as a teenager, I didn't really have. They didn't know what to do with this creative kid, and I don't think anyone in my high school did either. I don't know. We just didn't have a lot of guidance in my
Right.
schools, and so I ended up like taking a really convoluted path to where I am
Well,
today.
tell us. We want to know.
Do you want to know?
Yes, we sure do. My
Okay.
friend Eliberto is saying hello from Paris. You're in Paris.
Alberto,
Everybody
bonjour.
wants to know.
Well, okay, so I graduated high school. I mean, I basically got married to my high school sweetheart.
Oh, you
And
guys are the cutest couple.
no, see, that's not
Oh,
Catherine
that's
is
not
not
her.
my high school sweetheart. See, that's
No.
where the yeah. So yeah, I had a in completely like part one, act one to my life, and so I probably shouldn't have married this woman. I mean, she's a really wonderful person, but we were not really aligned for success, if you will.
Right.
So, it took way too long to figure that out, however. And
No.
in the meantime, I, had to get jobs, and I didn't go to school, which I probably should. Of course, I should have. I wish I would have. I still have a little chip on my shoulder about that, but it is what it is. I've made my own way.
Right.
But so I spent about 15 years, um, really just kind of uh, not going the direction that I really wanted to be going as far as my what I had envisioned for my life. And it actually wasn't until I met Catherine, we are really cute together. I have to admit
Oh my
that.
God. You guys
Um,
almost are starting to look alike. You guys
I
are
know
starting. My
but
dad and his wife look alike too. I was like, oh my
people
God.
have like said that we look like brother and sister,
I
which is kind of
know.
creepy,
It's creepy.
but is what it is. But see, when I met her, and this is after okay, I'm just gonna lay it out if you want to know. I
Yeah.
like became kind of an alcoholic loser. I mean, I always had a job, and I was always, getting up in the morning, going to work. But I was
Yeah.
like, kind of became a shell of myself for
Oh,
many years, and then I went to work for my older brother, which was a bad idea, and
mm,
that lasted for 6 years. And then I met Catherine, saw some of my old work, and was like, dude, what are you doing at this job that you obviously hate?
right.
And I mean, we fell in love with each other immediately, and over time she convinced me to quit this job, and she was like, I've got you, I've got your back.
Oh,
Let's
you're gonna make me cry, Troy.
I know it makes me cry just even like talking about it.
Right.
But she had this belief in my ability and in me, and that was again like rocket fuel. And that was 2006, and so here we are.
Oh my gosh. And I love that you said that she had that belief in you, because a lot of people that are on here listening, you know, oftentimes when we're starting something that's a new venture that we know is our life purpose, we may not believe in ourselves yet. But
Yeah.
even if one human being that's alive or past believes in us, that's all that we need as fuel to ignite that passion. It doesn't even have to be our own belief. I never believed I could be an entrepreneur. I was going into work as a rehab counselor, and I did
Wow.
like, yeah, and I was working for the government, and I was 12 years in a wrong relationship and on the part A of my, you
Yeah.
know, and it wasn't just somebody's belief in me said, "Oh, you could do coaching, or you could do," so I think that's really important for people to hear that from you, because I think, when people think of success, they just see the end product. They may not know the journey and the challenge that went into it. I think that's why it's really important to talk about not just the glamorous life, but the dirty.
Oh
I was
yeah.
practically alcoholic, drinking everything, like
Oh
you said,
yeah.
right?
I was totally, really a shell of myself. You guys wouldn't even recognize me, seriously. But yeah, I have to pinch myself sometimes that
Yeah,
I was able to, with the help of someone who had this belief in me,
right.
make this way, and you can, like, with the evolution, you could even use Le Petit Prince as a metaphor for that evolution, because if you look at the pictures from like 2011, when I first started, when this guy was born, they were just these pictures of a thing that I made, right? This naked little 12-inch figure of Prince. And over time, they've developed into these very intimate tableaus that I'm attempting to tell this man's amazing story through images. And so it's come a long way, just as I guess I have, and just as you have.
Exactly. And as we all have. And
Exactly.
when we realize that success is a journey, that, and that it's not like you start at the bottom and you go to the top, like climbing a mountain, that it's a roller coaster. And
Yeah, it
even
is.
like what we went through last year and what we're
Yeah.
still going through now, it's like these twists and these turns. And how do you stay on path and on purpose? And I believe, and I don't know if you believe that, Catherine can be like an earth angel, and maybe you're an angel, earth angel to her. All the things that you have taught. I know you're super humble, Troy, so all the things, if I interviewed her, I bet she would say, oh, I'm so inspired by Troy every day. If I were talking to Catherine, what would she say about you?
She would say that I hold her up as well, for sure. Absolutely. You know, and I guess that's why we look so cute together.
And, this art of creativity, because that's, the topic for today, of creativity. And we had like a pre-talk talk where you were educating me on what creativity is and isn't. Because, people that are watching who, Gigi's like, Troy is the truth. And other people that are on here, they're like, oh my
Gigi's the
God.
truth.
This girl says, Kolalena says, love your work, Troy. Right? So these, you've got these raving, I don't even want to call them fans, but raving supporters and admirers of you. They also have creativity within them. What is your creative process like on days where you're feeling funky and you're maybe not in the mood to, whip up something? How do you activate that, and how can other people do the same?
I I kind of think of creativity as a muscle, or as, something to exercise, just as you would, like, you do, yoga, or you do your workout every day, or whatever. I kind of think of it in that way. So, and a lot of times with workouts or doing yoga or something, it's a matter of just getting started, right? So if you just get in and get your hands moving, that's kind of how a lot of the times how I get going, especially with like the Lipity Prince stuff, for instance. It's really kind of a meditative thing. So, you know, if you just kind of go into something, not necessarily having a need for perfection, like, and are willing to experiment a little, that's when it gets fun, and that's when creativity is really sparked, and then when it doesn't feel like a job, right?
Right.
Um,
It truly is a joy, right?
yes, when it's a joy, and it doesn't have to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of different instances. Like, for example, we're talking about Catherine a little bit. She's super creative in the kitchen, like, and she's really into
Ah,
very health conscious stuff, like
that's
alternate
why you're so
flours, and
thin.
partly,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I gotta keep up with her. But
Uh-huh.
so not all the stuff is that great tasting, but she has created this menu for herself that uh, she consistently tweaks, and it's never the same because she doesn't write anything down, and it's just getting in the kitchen and kind of experimenting. That's creative for her, and
But
you know
you
go
said
ahead.
something. You said something that's really important that people need to hear and understand and embody. Is you said the key tool for creativity is to let go of perfectionism.
Yeah,
Because if you think that it needs to be perfect, then you won't even start. You know,
yeah,
whether it's dancing or cooking or painting, that you just have to allow the process, which is like a flow, right? Like you said, the meditation, it's like a flow.
absolutely. And although I do aim for as close to perfection, I know that I can never attain it. You know, that's just
Right,
something you have to kind of come to terms with. It's just not a possibility.
right.
So at some point, you have to let go and be cool with what you're doing.
I love it. And then you have to let go. And then also you said you just have to get started. It's like
Yeah,
many people don't, we may not enjoy going to the gym, but we know that if we just do the first mile, that once we get there, we'll get into a flow. And that's really part of my success with the Ease and Grace program, because a lot of people think they need to push and pull and make things happen. And that's a very masculine energy. And creativity is a very feminine energy. It's allowing, it's receiving, it's flowing. It's just like moving and grooving, and see where your Le Petit Print wants to take you. Can we talk
absolutely, it's
about
true.
can we talk about LPP for a minute?
Please.
How did you get inspired to create LPP? Tell me more.
Well, Prince has been. I mean, are we talking about Prince or are we talking about the actual the
Well,
petite
let's talk
Prince?
about Prince first. You're the
Okay.
muse for LPP, and then we'll talk about
I mean, he's been my artistic hero since I was 13, really. I mean, my sister introduced me to him, essentially, took me to see Purple Rain. I'm not going to pretend like I was there in 1978, because I was
baby, baby.
you too.
Yeah.
But, I saw him on MTV with the 1999 videos, but it was Purple Rain and When Doves Cry that, like, cemented it. And then my sister took me to see him live in '85, and that was for sure, like, okay, I'm in.
Right.
So, lifelong, essentially. Um, the figure Le Petit Prince himself kind of stemmed out of the fascination that I had as a kid and kind of carried into my adulthood for Jerry Anderson's super marionation projects, like the Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet. Later on, in like 2004, I think, a movie called Team America World Police came out. You
Okay.
remember that?
Yeah.
No? Okay, well, it was based on the same marionation technology that was used by Jerry Anderson in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
And they were these kind of animatronic little figures. They had these oversized heads with big eyes, and they were amazing and surreal, and they tripped me out. And I don't know, I just always thought they were the coolest. And
Right.
I always wanted to make Prince in that style. I had done like one of myself, like an early version. Me and my buddy were like super into World Police, Team America World Police, and we made little versions of ourselves, and they kind of sucked. So a few years later, I revisited this idea with Prince, and it was just really with no intention of anything but making something for myself. And I picked up some clay, and I just started making something, and Prince's face showed up. And
Oh, really?
well, basically, I mean, I kind of had the idea I was
Right.
working towards Prince, but I
Right.
mean, it was just like, oh wow, okay, it's starting. And it just sort of, I mean, I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to figure out how to do the hair. And so, I found a wig, and I mean, it grew into this thing, right?
But what is it? Was it like wood or clay, or like what was
The
the actual?
head, the head is made of Sculpey. It's a polymer clay. You can bake it in your oven.
Okay. Okay.
He has glass eyes, so those are glass doll eyes.
Mhm.
And then I found a wig online. I was like, okay, doll supplies, I guess. I don't know. And it just started that way. And then I was like, okay, well, he can't be naked. He needs
Why not?
clothes.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, he could be naked sometimes,
Why not?
clearly.
Tamir says she remembers Team America. She
Samir,
saw it at the movies. Yeah.
yeah, I saw it. Okay, I saw it like 6 weeks in a row. Like I was obsessed. It was ridiculous. But
Wow.
um, so yeah. Oh, so the idea for this, what clothes is he gonna wear? Well, I was just okay. We're gonna make the iconic Purple Rain outfit with the ruffle shirt, the black trousers, purple raincoat. I didn't know how to sew. Catherine sort of knew how to sew. She had a sewing machine. But I
Right.
started like looking online on Facebook, like, hey, can anybody knows how to sew like a little tiny outfit? someone hooked me up with a like a rock and roll stylist here in town, and she
Oh,
was like, I could probably
wow.
do it for maybe like $100. I was like, Catherine was like, let's do it ourselves. We can make it.
Right. Kind of
And so
pricey.
exactly. So we did. Like she totally helped me out and made the first coat, and I kind of picked it up from there.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that you guys were doing it
he
together.
helped me make the first coat. Yeah, the first
Oh,
purple raincoat. Yeah, yeah.
wow.
So that okay. So then I took pictures, and really when it blew up or started to blow up was when my friend Monet Love, who I'm sure lots of folks in the chat know Monet,
Right.
sister of ours. She posted it on one of the many Facebook Prince fan pages, I think, and that's when it kind of started to like, okay, what's going on here? And somehow at some point, Questlove got an eye full of it, and that's
Really?
yeah, that's when it like really he retweeted it, and that's when it kind of really took off because he challenged me to do the cover of Sign of the Times, and I was like, that's impossible,
He
but I
should
can
do
do
a
it.
Netflix show or an Amazon show about LPP. Everybody, tweet Quest Love right now. We can co-create
He
because
dropped me. He's too
wait,
famous for me.
no, well, somebody then, somebody else then, somebody. Let's
No,
all
no.
do.
I mean, I would love it if he did. That'd be killer.
Yeah, let's all put our co-creativity on, and that's what you taught me about creativity. Troy said before the show in our pre-talk talk is that the definition of creativity is making the invisible visible. Is that
Essentially, yeah, pretty
right?
much making something out of nothing.
Yeah, making something out of nothing. And so everyone here, Tanya, Natalia, everybody, Brittany, we all have that capacity by accessing when we align by, like you said, painting for you and doing sculpting is your meditation. Maybe for other people, dancing is your meditation, or listening to music, or taking a walk in nature is your meditation, because it gives you that silent mind to be able to download those, whatever your genius is. We all have that capacity. But
Absolutely.
so then you organically, started creating. It got retweeted, and then what happened next?
And then what happened next? So I was essentially recreating existing imagery, right? Album covers, posters, stuff we'd seen that was iconic to us already. Okay, but that's different. You haven't seen that, have you? Like that wasn't an actual photo. Like you never saw Prince with blonde hair, but there's a story about how Prince, got his hair cut and bleached, and so that's where that was inspired from. But so this is 2012, right? I'm making these recreations. People are asking for T-shirts, posters. I'm thinking, okay, well, these are my recreations. They're not really like infringing on any copyrights because it's all new.
Right,
I've made everything in this photo.
right.
So I acquiesced. I started making merchandise. Wasn't too long after that, got a letter from Prince's attorneys.
Uh,
Don't be selling stuff with Prince's name on it. Don't be selling stuff with the symbol on it,
uh,
etc., etc. Um, it was deflating, but I should have seen it coming, I suppose.
right.
Um, didn't happen the way I'd hoped it'd, end, but so be it. Um, I pivoted. I made a little miniature me. I started taking images of me in my heroes' poses, Prince being one of them. I was Pablo Picasso and Andy Warhol and David Bowie and Muhammad Ali. So I went through this whole process of inserting myself in it was almost like hero fantasy, hero fulfillment fantasy in a way,
Right.
right? So throughout that process and taking these photos, I got pretty good, or I got better at composing these photos and using effects, lighting, and little fog machine and different things, and started making more props. So throughout that process, it made me want to revisit Prince, and
Mm,
so that's when I did, and I made sure not to include anything that could possibly be viewed as infringing or trying to recreate something that already existed exactly. And I didn't use his name. I didn't point it to anything for sale, and I never heard another word.
oh,
And that was in like 2000, like 14 probably when I started reintroducing Le Petit Prince. So a lot of folks, I think, maybe have the misinformed idea that I like didn't really jump back on it until he passed away, like I was being an opportunist or something. But that's not the case.
No.
No,
Who are these? No.
I'm old school.
You're OG. No way. The opposite. You are not trying, you are honoring. And what better way I mean, I have my old calendar and my new calendar still up, because there's nothing that makes me happier than every
I love
month
it. You know
seeing.
what? I've got a friend in Israel, and I've sent him a calendar, and he tells me that it doesn't matter what month it is; it matters what mood he's in.
Look at
Is
his
what
gorgeous eyelashes. One of the things that I love, and we're going to talk about the LPP club, about being in the LPP club, is the videos that shows your process of bringing the invisible to visible to life, like
yeah,
the magic of it.
it happens mostly right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's where the
that's
magic happens.
that's where the photos. Yeah, in fact, LPP is sitting over there reading a newspaper right now.
Bring him.
No,
No, you can't. No, no.
no, he shook his head.
You're like, oh, we have to pay big bucks to get him.
Yeah,
Like, no, no.
I'll show you later.
Okay, great. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. Wow. So, like, have you ever have like challenges, like a creative block where you're just in a funk, like with everything that was going on last year? How do you? Because it's not easy. I know, I was formerly married to an artist. It's not easy in the art world, especially because the art is like an extension of yourself and your soul. So when someone doesn't value it, or when someone puts a kibosh on it, like that happened to you, how do you keep going and stay in your creative flow?
Well, in that specific instance, it was almost like I'm going to do this then. It was like
Oh,
almost like a
good.
competitive. You know what I mean? It was almost like a competitive spark. But like throughout all of last year, I really just, man, I'm I just put my head down and started making stuff. I started making small paintings because I had this stack of canvases, and I was like, well, there's something that I can fill up right now and just get get my hands moving, because I was kind of stuck for a minute,
Right.
at the beginning of the pandemic. I'm
We
like,
all
okay,
were.
what's gonna happen?
We all were. I was like, do I have a living anymore?
Exactly. And up until that point, really, like my main income came from gallery sales at Sam Gallery at the Seattle Art Museum. It's like there's different types of galleries. There's the traditional gallery system, brick and mortar, old school galleries where they have a stable of artists and they'll have a show maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. The Seattle Art Museum has it's called Sam Gallery, and they showcase Northwest artists, but they carry the art. You can see all the art throughout the year. It's like they change it up, they change the shows around, but they always have the art available, like on these sliding doors. So it's like it's really accessible for the public. So it's viewed more often than it would be in like a traditional brick and mortar style gallery, and
Right.
therefore it gets more eyeballs and therefore more sales. So for the past since 2009, it's really been my bread and butter
Oh,
up
really?
until like last year. It was like, and so interestingly enough, the previous January, so what was that, January of 2018? No, no, June of 2018, I decided to create a Patreon page, subscription page,
Genius.
based on,
Genius idea.
well,
Genius.
I wasn't the first. I wasn't the first, and it was
No.
based, and it took a lot of, it took some, I really had to think about it because I don't, it's like, are you asking for money? No. How does this work? I wanted to make it seem like I really wanted to, keep my integrity. I
Right.
guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
And so I talked to my friend Michael Dean, and he had just started using it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it's great." And someone else had suggested that I use it around the same time, and then I heard someone on the radio talk about how they had like converted their record sales from through the record company contract that they had been with, strictly to through their Patreon account, and how it was their sole income. And I was like, wow, maybe I can do something like this. Maybe, that way I can show people behind the scenes with this LPP project, because I know people want to see this stuff. And it's a way that I could offer it, and then also, like, not just give it away.
Right.
Like, I want it to have value, because I think it really
People
does.
don't appreciate what they don't pay for. That's what I realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that came along 6 months before the pandemic hit, and it was already kind of in a groove. And thank goodness for these beautiful patrons, including yourself, Debbie. Thank you, who have really kept me going, literally. And I'm so grateful. I can't even tell you.
And
It's
explain to people what it is, and for those people that don't know what a Patreon is and how they
okay.
can.
Yeah, so it's like a subscription service in a way,
Mhm.
a membership service, so to speak.
Yeah.
And there can be different levels of membership, and it depends on how much you want to pay, what you get for each tier. So, specifically for Club LPP, for instance, there's 4 tiers. The first one is a $7 tier, and you get to see all the behind the scenes videos, and you get the preview of the Saturday's LPP Saturday. So you get a preview on Thursday of what everyone else is going to see on Saturday. And then you also get all the whatever behind the scenes stuff that I put together and present, which is, to me, that's kind of a lot. But
Which that video content will be great on the documentary they do on you, either on Amazon or Netflix or Hulu.
that's
We're still
true, I guess.
Gigi and I will manifest it.
Okay, please. Yes. But that's true. If nothing else, and this is something that I've been learning throughout this whole Patreon process, is the whole process of documenting myself.
Yes.
It's not something that I'm used to. So I've learned, and I've gotten better at it, and I'm doing
Good.
it more and more. But at first it was like you used to just like get in here and just start doing stuff. And then I would get into such a zone that I wouldn't really even want to think about stopping to like put up a camera or something. So I just didn't. But
Right.
now I think, I've set up certain cameras in certain places where I know it's not going to be that hard of a thing to just get it going.
Right.
So that's been a learning process. But so okay, so then a step up from that level is the $12 level, and every month
Tell
you get
them
the
the names
card.
of it. Tell them
Okay,
the
so
name.
so initially it was dance, music, sex, romance for the first 2 years, and then I switched it up to French because we're in the parade era. So it's dance, musique, sex, romance.
I love it.
Uh, so the sex level, you get the card every month. No, no, music level. Music level. Yeah, you get you get an exclusive card that I sign on the back every month. They're numbered.
Which, by the way, I'm going to frame these and make a whole wall. It's going
Yeah,
to
they're
be
totally frameable.
prom.com.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. And let's see. Oh, and plus all the behind the scenes stuff. The next level up, you get all that stuff and a T-shirt once a year, which is a kind of a cool deal. It's an
Yeah.
exclusive T-shirt. And then for the level above that, which is, you know, I'm so really surprised that I have as many at this level that I do. But so it's a $40 a month level, and you get all the stuff everybody else gets, plus you get a framed uh, print that nobody else has seen. Even there's there's images out there, 2 of them now for the 2 years that we've been doing the Patreon that are exclusive to the romance level members. And then they also get little weird goodies that I throw out there once in a while that I don't I don't make known to you guys because I want them to feel extra special.
That's so long. And that's so creative, right? Right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, because that element of surprise that Prince used to love to surprise us with concerts and, put on Twitter so we would know when to buy our ticket. And it was like these riddles and, it's that has that energy
Yeah,
to it. Mm-hmm.
that's cool that you think that way because
Mm-hmm.
that's a I will not step away from that comparison at all.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's really important for any creative human. I mean, we're all creative, but to have ways that you can be, because you can't create unless you're in a place of being abundant, right? So having people support you is supporting them. Like you said, it's a reciprocal thing.
It absolutely is.
It's not, because a lot of artists like, oh, I don't want to charge for my work, but it's an exchange of energy. So
Yes.
you're putting love and energy into something, and then we're reciprocating and circulating that energy back to you and saying, thank you, we appreciate it. And then it's just a beautiful flow, right?
It is an absolutely beautiful flow. And even with the folks that are, just on the Patreon on Club LPP, just every week the love that comes back to me. And I know it's for Prince, but it's us communing
Right.
together, with our love for Prince. And
it's not just love for Prince, it's love for you, Troy. Because what I see people saying, and I try to make a comment every time, is like, how did you get that detail? Like sometimes I feel like I'm looking at him. I'm like, those eyelashes are all I'll see like a look of sexiness in his eye. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's awesome. That's so cool. See, when I hear stuff like that, it's like, okay, and that's the stuff. That's the fuel. That's what just like burns my passion and makes me just want to keep going and make it more exciting and more fun and more, amazing. And I, a lot of people are like, wow, how's he going to top himself? And then they'll be like, you did it. You topped yourself. Exactly. I don't know if I can sustain that forever, but it's sure fun trying.
Yeah.
And God, I just love it. It's really, I gotta say, it's my favorite. So I've got like different bodies of work that I kind of revisit, like I've got the pop hybrids, and if I got an idea for that, I'll go and make that. If I've got, something for LPP, which is a constant,
right?
He's always like the background. If I've got nothing else going on,
right?
Prince is the ultimate inspiration. There's endless supply of source material,
right?
And especially now with the books coming out, and like Dwayne Tudall's book is like, I was waiting for that thing for months because I was ahead of, I was like in 1986 already. I was like, I need a passage for this. Come on, Dwayne. And and it's an amazing book, but it's so great for me to get to. I'm learning more about my hero now too,
Mm-hmm.
And we're all getting to learn about this amazing human being and his flaws and his,
right,
everything. He was a human being, but he was an exceptional artist, and my ultimate inspiration. And it's so fulfilling to get to learn a bit more about him and then share it and then get this love. And it's man, nobody's better than Prince fans.
I know, it's true.
It's
true.
We are the prototype to what the earth should be like.
Exactly. Exactly. Nobody will have more fun. Nobody will dance harder. Nobody will sing louder. Nobody will hug everybody in the room. I've been to events by myself and came out with 1 million friends and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. I know some of my best friends I've met because of Prince. So, that says something.
Yeah. And I also had the pleasure of going to your SAM show, your Seattle show, thanks to Zoom. And I honestly think that the quarantine is really is an opportunity for art galleries to also pivot on how they could do a better job of doing virtual shows and online. And that SAM gallery did the most awesome Zoom event. I had the best time.
Cool.
I was like awesome. Getting drinks, and I was like, ooh la la.
Nice.
So, maybe people do not know about that your pop hybrid prints and the David Bowie juxtaposition and all those. They're so good.
Thank you.
How can they on your website buy some of those prints as well?
They can, yeah. If you go to my shop, there's a link to, or one of the items in the shop is it's a blank basically. You have to contact me if you have something in mind. You contact me and ask me if it's available in whatever size, and then we can start our dialogue that way and go back and forth. But yeah, it's kind of a weird, sticky situation. It was something that I was always really more likely to steer towards Sam Gallery because they've always had my back. But
Right.
last year, they were like, do your thing, especially, if you have to do this on, because I was supposed to have a show like that show that you saw, that
Right.
virtual show, that
Oh,
was
it was supposed
supposed
to
to
be
happen
live.
like, yeah, well, yeah, it was supposed to be live, and it was supposed to be like the year before,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was like it just didn't happen, and so they were totally cool about me kind of mounting this online show that I put together, and it was pretty successful, and you know, so as things are starting to renormalize,
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, I think if people are in Seattle, I still need to steer them to Sam Gallery. But yeah, online for folks around the country and around the world, it's just get in contact with me through my website. Yeah.
I used to have a boyfriend in Tacoma, Washington.
Really,
So I spent a lot of time in Tacoma and SeaTac Airport.
I grew I grew up like a mile from SeaTac Airport.
Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful. Everything is so green. It's just so amazing. Yeah.
It
But I mean,
usually is. Right now, it's all a little brown, but yeah, a little dry, like
uh,
like the rest of the West.
no, but I love it when things open up to come and support you and see your show live, just like we would fly somewhere to go to a concert. Maybe and
Um,
get Danielle. Maybe Danielle will go with me. We'll go together. We'll go see Troy.
we need to all meet up in Minneapolis again
Okay.
sometime. It's like, I haven't been ready to do that yet this year, but I know
Yeah.
next year I'm
Next
down.
year. Exactly. Exactly. This
Yeah.
year, next year.
I may sneak back in the fall by myself. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
But next year for sure I want to be there in June.
Yes. I would love it. Yeah, we could have a party. Danielle says she's down. She's down. All right. I knew it. I knew it. Yes. Yes. But you like Gigi said something about your humility. She said,
I'm
she
missing all
said,
this stuff on the side. I'm so bad at like
I
multitasking, so
know
I'm
it's
glad
because
you're good.
she says your beautiful humility makes you surprised at how much it's like so surprising how much people adore you. And it's
It
not
does
just
surprise me.
Prince, it's you, the artist that is bringing us somebody that we love. So it's not just our love for Prince, it's our love for you, Troy.
You
Um,
know, that's a really sweet thing. But like you mentioned, like you said, you look at it, sometimes you're like, is he real? And I say, that's what it is. It's like whatever ability I have to access whatever it is that I am able to access that kind of brings this being to life. You can see it's Prince. I don't know. To me, I can see it's Prince. Like,
yes.
I don't know how to explain it really,
Mhm.
but I know it when I see it.
It's magical. It's magical. And I think that all of us can follow your lead and whatever creative projects that we have to get out of our own way, to believe in other people's belief in us, to manifest like your Catherine, our earth angels, let go of perfectionism, go with the flow, and just trust that, if we're being led to do this, that we're meant to do it. And that, we will our vibe will attract our tribe and will build up and anything that I can do or anybody here can do to support you and to proliferate your movement of LPP. I have a creative director that's on here and she's like, he amazes me, I can't believe it. Every time she sees him she's just like amazed. So how can people join your Patreon and how can they continue to follow you and connect with you after the podcast?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think probably the best place to go to kind of get a good feel of who I am and what I do is just go to my website first of all. It's
Yeah.
troygua.com. And there are, several rabbit holes you can go down. I do all kinds of different stuff, so I think it's probably a fun website to check out. If you
Okay.
want to just like follow me on Instagram, that's where the LPP Saturday posts originate every Saturday morning. So Instagram at Troy Gua is where to find me there. Um, if you're already an LPP fan and you want to get in there, dig deeper, and really support the project, check out patreon.com/clublpp. And if you probably know somebody who's in the club, and just ask them what they think of it, or I don't know, if you appreciate the quality that you're getting every Saturday for free, imagine what you
And
get.
I would say like think of it like a magazine subscription, right? I used to subscribe to Oprah. Oprah went out of business. You know what I mean? Now I subscribe to LVP, right? So Oprah, Troy, same level, right? Same
I
level.
got her glasses.
Yeah, you got the Oprah glasses on, right? For it's a small investment for a big reward every month.
Well, that's how
The post
I think
office
of it.
lady screams with me. We're like,
Really? You open it there. That's
yeah,
awesome.
she's so
Um, I think of it as like, especially like the bottom tier is like $7. What's that? But divided by four is like less than $2 a week. It's like not
wow.
even a coffee, right? So, and plus you get to see all the behind the scenes stuff besides that. So,
Yeah, it rocks my world. I'm so grateful for you. I thank you. And I invite everyone to align with your creativity, to allow Troy's genius, Prince's genius, to inspire your genius, Danielle, Stacy, Tanya, Gigi, Tamir, all of you here, Britt. Your genius is here. And I know that success leaves clues, right? And so, as we see our wonderful brother, our inspiration, Troy, doing it, I would like to invite you all to follow his lead and to find your calling, your creativity, turn your invisible visible. Because, why not? Why not you? Right?
exactly. Why not you?
Tanya
I'm
says,
so grateful for you having me. This is really fun. And
yes.
I love you ladies. I can't wait to give you all hugs when I see you next.
Yes, we'll give you.
Hopefully, yeah, sooner than later.
Exactly. Stacy says yes. Everybody's down to meet up. You just give us the time. You give us the date. We will be there in Minneapolis or wherever if you have a show. And I am going to use I am a master manifester, Troy. And I'll just put it out there. My attorney, who negotiates a lot of reality shows and has worked with certain people. We'll see. I'll show her this show and see who we can talk to. I believe that it would be perfect. I mean, because especially people are not going to a lot of movies, they're consuming more content at home on
Yeah,
Amazon and Hulu. They need a documentary on LPP.
I would not say no.
Yeah, you would not say no, right?
No.
We'll just
Yes, that's
negotiate the right
manifested.
price. My attorney will negotiate the price for you. Don't worry.
Okay,
She'll do all the negotiation. Yeah,
I trust
yeah,
you.
she did that with me. So Gigi says celebration 2022. Troy Guaz, special guest. Yeah. We'll tell Paisley Park they need to do something for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know about that. We don't know about that, but
I don't know.
we'll see what we can do. So, any questions, please share this podcast if you love Troy. Show your support for him by sharing it out. Because if every one of us knows 5 people and they become a Patreon, just think what our influence has and the impact on the world with more people getting to enjoy. Any closing words?
From moi? No, I'm so grateful to everybody and to you, and yeah, thanks for giving me your time. This is really fun, and you're inspirational, and your energy has rubbed off on me, and you kind of made my night. So thank you.
Yay! Synergy has been activated. I love it. Yeah, and that's the name of my company is Synergy Unlimited, and it's with the power
Perfect.
of synergy, anything is possible. When 2 or more people come together in agreement, your documentary, it's already done. You just have to line it up. It's already done. Synchronicity, right place, right time, right people. Everybody says thank you, thank you, thank you. Sharing love. And thank you all for tuning in. We are here every single week for the Align for Success podcast. And I have some amazing news that we are now on Apple Podcasts. We are now on Spotify. We're now on SoundCloud. And you can find it on Align for Success TV. Just search it. It's right there. And we just appreciate all of you coming here every week. We have another great guest next week. My friend Milton Smith. He's amazing. He decided at the age of 40 to leave the United States and move to Mexico and become an actor. And since he moved to
Awesome.
Mexico, he booked his first movie within a month of living in Mexico, and he doesn't speak Spanish. Yeah, so he's just proof you could do anything, anytime, anywhere you want when you align for success. Thank you, everyone. Ciao. Bye, Natalia. Thanks for coming. Bye, Stacy. Bye, Tanya. All the Purple Familia. Bye, Danielle. Bye, beautiful Tamir. Bye, Britt. Nice to have you here. Ciao.